I'm a little bit late with my October planting, mostly because of the murder beaks. The nesting butcher birds nearby are still at it, and they've made getting outside into the garden a little bit difficult. If you're new here, I'm Nikki and I live in the subtropics in Australia, just north of Brisbane. We live on an average suburban block and I try to grow as much food as I can using mostly raised garden beds and wicking beds. We also have a couple of lawn ornaments, chickens, and an aquaponics system where we grow our own barramundi and red claw crayfish. We are pretty lucky in our climate as we can grow food year round. However, summer is probably our most challenging season. I aim to plant a new bed every month, a variety of things that will grow in around 3 to 4 months. I have separate beds for things that take a little longer, like garlic, sweet potato, capsicums, and eggplants. This strategy has worked to keep us consistently supplied with fresh produce, and there's less of that feast or famine. The variety in each bed also helps keep pests to a minimum. If I do have an influx of bugs, they don't wipe out everything in one hit, so it's less risk. So let's take a look at what we're planting in October. I got sick of keeping the water up to the sugarcane straw bale garden. They are great over the cool months when you just really want to get started, but they do dry out far too quickly when the weather heats up. I set up a new garden bed in its place and I used the spent bale as the base to fill the bed. The garden bed will definitely drop over this growing season as that old sugarcane breaks down. I topped it off with a bit of soil from an old raised bed that I'm pulling down from the backyard and added some organic fertilizer. This raised bed is just a Birdie's 6-in-1 bed, which can be found at Bunnings or in their online store. I love them as they last forever and are just so simple to put together. With this bed, I am going to be planting some of our summer staples for the warm season. This combination could be planted right up until February, depending on when your first frost is. So I'm going to plant a Roma tomato, which is a determinate variety, so it won't take over. I'm also going in with some cucumbers, climbing beans, spring onions, lettuce, and some extra bush beans. Now this Roma was well overdue for planting, and as you can see, it's already got fruit on it. I'm not sure how it's going to go with transplantation, but we'll give it a go. With determinate tomatoes, I use just a galvanized cage and I don't trim them, I just let them go. Unlike the indeterminate varieties where I am constantly trimming them back and pinching out the leaders. With the trellis, I've put 2 together to make this little teepee, I guess. These are just galvanized mesh panels, and what I'm doing this for is to create a bit of shade for my lettuce. We eat loads of lettuce over summer, and the easiest way to keep them from bolting quickly is a little bit extra shade and lots of water. I'm planting climbing beans. I'm doing purple king, which are quite prolific. I'm also going to do some cucumbers right on the edge. These are ones that we sowed last month. I normally like to sow my cucumber seeds direct, but I just was having bad luck with some old seeds, so I had these on ready to go, so I thought I would plant them. Once these get growing, they will provide plenty of shade under the trellis to keep growing lettuce throughout those hot November and December days. Around the tomato, I'm just going to pop in some spring onions, and in between, right on the edges, I'm going to do some bush beans. I have a love-hate relationship with bush beans. They grow really fast, but they are very short-lived, so you just have to keep planting through the summer months. The ones we planted back in August have already slowed right down in production. I'm going to go with some Cherokee wax, which is a yellow butter bean, and I'm going to do some red rooster bolotti beans, which can be eaten as a green bean, or you can leave it and dry it and use it like a bolotti bean. I plant bush beans right on the edge so they can hang over the raised bed. This is just a great way to maximize space, as they do get quite large as they grow. I topped off this bed with some sugarcane mulch, a sprinkling of organic extra slow release fertilizer, and watered it in, followed by some seaweed emulsion. As it is so hot today, I've also popped over a shade cloth just to help everything get settled in and not get cooked. Over on the arch, I'm going to pop in some snake beans or yard-long beans. I love these over summer as they pretty much look after themselves. They're relatively resistant to bean fly, but if you leave the pods, it will attract the brown bean bug. I've got red dragon ones. They actually are green. If you want the red ones, they're called red noodle. They aren't everyone's cup of tea. They have a different texture from your regular bean, a little bit tougher, but I do like them in stir fries. They go great in a green tomato pickle, and they also make a really nice fermented veggie as they do keep their shape and texture. I'm still waiting for my cauliflower seeds to finish up. So I'm going to be only planting out one bed of sweet potatoes, and I'm going with the purple sweet potatoes. In this 90 centimeter square bed, I'm planting around 12 slips, I think it was, which is basically cuttings that I've propagated by chucking them in water. So when they've popped up from places that I didn't want them to grow, I've just pulled them out and chucked them in water to get more roots. I didn't do a great deal of prep to this bed, just a little bit of blood and bone and rock minerals. Some people just let one slip go and just bury the runners as they grow, but what I've found is that creates one massive sweet potato and lots of really tiny ones. This method I've found by doing it this way with lots of little slips is it gives me a lot of the perfect size sweet potatoes. When the cauliflower seeds finish up, I will be planting some standard orange sweet potatoes in the other bed. It's super important that you give all of your propagation pots a bit of a clean. I'm just doing it with a little bit of bleach and dishwashing liquid and just giving everything a wash and letting it dry out. This is just going to prevent any disease buildup over time. I'm not doing much in the way of seedlings for future plantings. In fact, probably next month I won't do much at all. I just want to get in a couple of okra plants as they do really well over those hot months. I've got a Clemson spineless and a hill country. I've struggled to use a harvest of these because that's not something we typically eat, but they do grow so well when nothing else will. So I'm determined to give them a bit more of a go and get a little bit more creative in the kitchen with them. I'm going to get some more corn seeds in. Normally I do them direct, but I had such issues with bugs eating them 2 months ago. And I did actually catch a magpie eating a lot of my cover crop seeds. So I'm just going to get a head start on these in the greenhouse, along with a couple of cucumbers. I'm going to do market more, and of course, plenty of lettuce. I am also putting in some loofah seedlings. Normally I chuck these into the aquaponics and they just grow, but I'm not sure what we're doing with the aquaponics, so I wanted to get the seedlings going. The other thing I want to get going is ginger. I normally have 2 pots on rotation. I harvest every 2 years, but we discovered fermented ginger beer this year and we ran through that 2.5 kilo harvest so fast. I'll pop a link to the recipe that we followed. It's another YouTuber and it was so good. In any case, we've discovered quickly that we are not growing enough ginger. So I'm going to plant an extra 5 grow bags this year. I'm not doing anything special with them. I'm just going to use a good quality potting mix and just put these tubers that are starting to sprout into the mix. Anyway, that's it for all the things that we're planting this month. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.